At the Vintage Computer Festival SoCal this year, one exhibit stopped me cold. It wasn't just a table with old gear, it was a full-on stage set.
So I wanted to evoke that feel, from the mid-'80s in, have a place for people to sit down if they want to play a game and chat about stuff.
Meet Sean Harrington. One of his passions is preserving the memory of what might be the worst-selling computer of the 1980s, the Mattel Aquarius. Sean called his exhibit at VCF SoCal the Aquarius Basement. It was a memory brought to life.
In 1984, I went to KB Toys and I bought with my own money that I earned at AMC Theaters, slinging popcorn, bought my first computer of my own. I was a son of a single mother. She couldn't afford a TRS-80 or an Apple. It gave way to a C64 and the Aquarius got given to Goodwill or something like that. So I started to get guilty in 2015, so I bought one off of eBay.
That guilt turned into a mission for Sean. He was determined to rebuild the Aquarius from scratch. Not just the computer, but the entire world it lived in. Stick around. This little box has a few surprises under the hood. 2 weeks after the show, I went down to Sean's home lab to learn how one of computing's earliest flops became his favorite platform for modern retro creativity. So I'm here in the car, headed down from Santa Barbara to Woodland Hills to meet Sean Harrington, the creator of the Aquarius Plus. Here's how it went down. In 1983, Mattel, yeah, the Barbie people, decided to enter the home computer market. And the result was the Aquarius.
Don't be lured by Commodore and TI's low-price computer keyboards. You're not getting the whole picture. If you want a complete home computer system, the price will pile up fast. Introducing the Aquarius home computer system from Mattel Electronics, a complete system for a lot less.
This tiny Z80-based system had no graphics mode, no sprites, a beeper for sound, and barely enough RAM to run a spreadsheet.
I think there was an honest effort by the people who kind of thought it up. I just think it got delayed to the point where it became irrelevant.
It was doomed to fail amidst the increasingly popular 8-bit systems from Apple, Atari, and Commodore that were becoming increasingly affordable.
It's such a joke of a system because it's the system that was only out for 6 months, 3 months depending on who you talk to. And it's been written off. It's that orphan that nobody cares about.
By the end of 1984, the original Aquarius had been quietly buried and was mostly forgotten for more than 30 years.
Their accountants told them, you can either get out of the electronics business or you can get out of business. So they're like, okay, great. I think we're going to stick to Barbies and Hot Wheels.
Everything about it is amazing, except who made it.
But Sean started to get nostalgic about 10 years ago. He had a soft spot for his first home computer and began thinking that it deserved better. He had a list, things that bugged him about the Aquarius as a kid, and things he wanted to fix.
All of those little challenges are fun to work through. I made a promise to myself that I was going to focus just on the Aquarius.
He didn't want to clone it. He wanted to imagine what it could have been if the original engineers had been given more time, more budget, and maybe a little more faith. To understand just how limited the original Aquarius was, you really have to see one of the original's best 1980s games in action. Even the most ambitious titles had to work entirely within the constraints of a text-only display.
This is the Dungeons & Dragons cartridge. So it's got the TSR Hobbies. Obviously that became Wizards of the Coast, and then it became Hasbro now. So again, we can play this, and this is kind of an early first-person shooter type of a game. It's great. I remember playing this for hours and hours. This is kind of like the killer app for the Aquarius. It's still character-based. These are all characters that you can type on the Aquarius.
His modern recreation, the Aquarius Plus, is what this system could have been, even using the technology available at the time in the early 1980s.
I'm going to load up Escape Trilogy. It is kind of a better example of what is possible to do. It makes use of sprites. It has much better graphics. The new Aquarius Plus has 2 sound chips, custom character set. You just really couldn't have done this previously on the Aquarius because there just wasn't the hardware for it.
This looks like a C64 game.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of that same feel to it.
With the Aquarius Plus's new sprite-based graphics and layered audio, games start to look like real 8-bit contenders. And it doesn't stop at games. The Aquarius Plus also runs CPM and classic productivity software like WordStar, thanks to an 80-column mode that the original never even came close to supporting.
We wanted to finally tie off the when are you going to be able to get CPM to run properly on the Aquarius, and we finally did it on the Aquarius Plus.
But Sean isn't trying to launch a startup or corner the modern 8-bit retro remake market, and he isn't shipping these by the thousands. He is trying to build a community. In fact, it exists largely because of the work of Sean and a worldwide team of collaborators, including hardware design by Frank Vandenhoff in the Netherlands. Curtis Kaler coded the ROMs and Plus Basic language, and Mac Wharton, aka Aquamac, is the group's resident historian and original Aquarius systems expert. The Aquarius Plus is fully open source, and anyone can download the files, print the circuit boards, and build one themselves.
I really don't want to be in the fulfillment business, but if I didn't, there wouldn't be any of the hardware out there.
That said, he is also building them and selling them online. There's a link in the description to his website where you can order one of the 2 versions of the fully assembled Aquarius Plus. The Signature Edition with a real Z80 processor and original peripheral compatibility, or the less expensive but nearly as capable Mini version Z with an FPGA core instead of a real Z80 chip. Both are hand-built, tested by Sean, and shipped directly from his home lab in Los Angeles. And if you ask nicely, he might even sign it. Sean's work lives alongside other modern retro projects like the Commander X16, the Spectrum Next, and the Phoenix. But his goals are a little different.
We're actually resisting the urge to go to whatever the next level would be, maybe go to a 16-bit or something like that, where you get these like Amiga or Atari ST era type devices, and I don't think we want to do that. I think that's a bridge too far because they're so simple, so elegant, they're easy to build and maintain.
Over time, Sean has iterated on his designs, refining the layout, cutting costs, trying new materials. Each revision tells part of the story.
I didn't want to put just regular bumpers because I wanted people to have access to the screws. So I developed just using craft foam with the laser cutter. We printed a bunch of these foam feet that we use that look like little macaronis.
Every unit carries the fingerprints of its recreator. Sean's also building a custom Bluetooth gamepad, one of the trickier challenges he's undertaken. Power loss on shutdown and device pairing issues have been hard to crack, but he's getting close.
We're also working with the group, the Bluetooth low energy, which is what this uses. We're working with them to figure out if there's a way that these devices can pull, or if we can even have a little capacitor that senses when power goes off that has just enough power to say, I'm letting go.
That kind of graceful shutdown, what Sean calls last-ditch signal, would let modern Bluetooth controllers behave a little more like vintage hardware. Quick, clean, no menu diving required. Of course, designing it is only half the battle. Shipping it, especially with batteries, is a whole other story.
I can't ship batteries internationally. I can only ship them ground in the US unless there's a special fee that you pay for hazardous materials. So a lot of these that I ship to the UK and other places or out of the country have to go without a battery on it.
For Sean, celebrating the Aquarius is a labor of love. A forgotten footnote in the history of computers, reimagined by someone who wasn't ready to let it go. And in an age of constant updates, notifications, chatbots, and algorithms, maybe it's the Aquarius Plus that has the most futuristic features of all.
At the end of the day, you turn it off. It's not checking your stocks for you. It's not checking your email for you. It's just something that you can go to when you need to.
After we wrapped at Sean's home lab, he and I took a trip down the road to the Vintage Arcade Superstore in Glendale. I picked up a spare arcade monitor and a few other treasures. Hopefully someday soon I'll be able to share more about my Centipede arcade restoration and the goodies that I found in Glendale that are helping to bring it all together. What was your first computer? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed meeting Sean and learning a bit about his Aquarius Plus project, check out the links in the description to build, buy, or emulate your own. There's an entry point for any budget. It would help me tremendously if you'd take a second to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for joining me on this journey. I hope you'll find your way back here for the next digital voyage.